Hi folks, Johnny Stivers here for Stivers Hyundai. There's absolutely zero chance any other dealer is doing this. Right now, get 0% interest on every new Hyundai. That's right, Palisade, Santa Fe, the entire lineup. And it gets even better. Zero down, zero payments for 90 days, and America's best warranty, including a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Owner assurance, beating Toyota and Honda. No gimmicks, no games, just serious savings. At Stivers Hyundai, where price sells cars.
For details, see dealer or www.stivershyundai.net.
Now tuned into the greatest.
So when that bag come, I won't fumble. I'm just stacking on the low, but hey, I'm tired of being humble. Let me get to it. That motivation music. Get control of your life, don't let nobody else do it. Cause so we're not gonna have matching S550s cruising. Feel like you winning on the ground.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, you know, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, hit us up on the voicemail line. That's 219-413-9405. And of course, we will play your take back on our next episode. Speaking of episodes, shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off of your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code The Run Podcast. Now, this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So I don't know about you, but you better go to one of these games in the playoffs, or MLB season is right around the corner. So definitely go check out some of them games. But in the meantime, we do have a special guest in the building today. Vincent is here joining us, covers the Pistons. As you know it, man, he's here with me. What's going on with you, Brody?
Feeling good, man. Happy to be here. It's been a little minute, man. We got a lot to catch up on.
Man,
bro. I appreciate you having me.
Of course, man. I'm so excited to have you on the show. Let's chop it up. I ain't even about to waste no time. We're just about to jump straight into this, man. Couple different things I want to ask you about and want to discuss, but let's slow down everything and let's just go back to the most recent thing that just happened with the Pistons. Oh, man. So recently, as you know, because you follow the Pistons, every game, every stat, all of the above. We just lost to the Toronto Raptors, 119-108, in kind of a close game, I guess. And just the thoughts on this, man. It was rough. It was a rough watch for me. I thought the Raptors played probably their best game of the season. But ultimately, there's some flaws on the Pistons side. So I just want to hear your thoughts on this game, initial reaction of this Pistons and Raptors game.
Yeah, they played pretty clean in the first half. I mean, it wasn't perfect. They've been kind of dealing with some injuries and some roster adjustments basically all season, and coming in without Beef Stew, returning with Asar Thompson, kind of changing from what they were just doing the previous three games. So they kind of had to readjust a lot of different things that they were doing with their starting lineup and some of their rotations. But it was a little discouraging seeing the way they played in the second half, giving away as many offensive rebounds as they did, so many second chance opportunities, couldn't do nothing with Brandon Ingram. Jakob Poeltl was killing them on the glass. Like, it was rough kind of watch that. And the thing that really kind of bothered me the most was, like, granted, the defense wasn't good. I think Jalen Duren kind of struggled big time in the paint, but it was kind of painful and rough seeing them previously with the three games before, like against Memphis, against the Nets, I think it was, and I think it was against the Sixers as well. They have been scoring like a mug. Like, we know how much, like, a lot of questions about their half-court offense looked. Right. But they were getting shots up. Like, Cade wasn't taking a lot of shots, but he was spreading the ball around to get other guys open. There was a lot of spacing. There was a lot of shooting. Jalen Duren was doing a great job of dominating in the paint. And we just didn't really see a whole lot of that same consistency offensively. So defensively was a big problem as well, but I really was kind of discouraged with how they kind of teetered off in terms of their offensive execution in the second half. They just kind of looked like they were trying to clog the paint. Toronto's a good defensive team. They did a good job of denying them out. And it really showed on how limited they can be when their offense struggles sometimes. And I was a little discouraged by that.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm not crazy. And you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I want to make sure I'm not crazy, because when I'm watching some of these games, I swear, we're a defensive team. Like, that's very evident. Like, that's why we have the best record in the East, because we are a defensive team. But I swear sometimes, bro, when Stu's not playing and those games we play without Asar, the defensive intensity just dramatically decreases. And I think this makes us look so much worse than what we actually are. That scares the living hell out of me. So come playoffs, obviously, we need everybody healthy, but like the defensive intensity is my only worry, because whenever the defensive intensity is good with the Pistons, that's when the offense is thriving. We're getting these fast break points where our defense is turning into easy offense. But it's just like toward the end of the season, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just starting to see a little inconsistencies on the defensive end. And that just scares me, bro.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, Stu and Asar are like the backbones of this defense. But Jalen Duren is supposed to be kind of that offsetting piece as well. Like, he's your big man, and he's supposed to be playing, 30-plus minutes a night. And when he's not active, when he's not protecting the paint like he needs to, when he's not cleaning up on the glass, you see how much they can struggle. And Asar, who was on a pitch count coming back from his ankle injury, he was on a minute restriction, so he didn't really play a whole lot. He didn't have a great game anyway, to be honest with you, on offense or defense, in my opinion. And then obviously they definitely miss Stu whenever he doesn't really get a chance to be active in that game. So it was defensively a struggle watching them play as bad as they did. Even another thing that like kind of nitpicked at me, like, I don't know why they so bad of a free throw shooting team, but just those little issues like that are the things that worry me about the postseason. But it just seems like every time they step to the stripe, they always split into two. It just bothers me. Well, there's Cade, who's been kind of up and down. JD been up and down. It's just way too much of that inconsistency, whether it's on the offense or defensive end. And going into the postseason stretch, these are the kind of things you need to be cleaning up and being at your best, in terms of your offensive execution or defensive execution.
Bro, facts. It's the little things. I feel like we was winning so many games because of the little things early on in the year. Like even mid-season, we were winning because of the little things. Like we're just out hustling people. We're making free throws. We're getting the loose balls, the steal. All of these little things really helped us win these games. And now we're at a point where I've said it before, and I don't know if it's the case, if it's just like fatigue, because we've been playing with this crazy intensity all season long, which I love, but like that does worry me. And then also too, I kind of want to bring up what you mentioned too with Jalen Duren, bro. Like obviously we all know he's a great defensive player, of course, like without a single doubt. But man, to me, I've actually seen you argue about this on Twitter too, about Isaiah Stewart being the best defensive guy on the team. It's become so evident. Like now that he had the suspension, obviously, so he couldn't play, and a lot of that defensive pressure resided on Jalen Duren being that defensive forefront. And when Stu came back and he's been kind of getting adjusted to the lineup, and I know he had was it like quad injury or something weird like that, or it was
calf strain.
Calf strain. Yeah. I knew it was something like that. But like ever since he's been getting reaccumulated to the lineup, like it's so much more evident that Isaiah Stewart is just much more than the tough guy that's gonna bully people. Bro really be out there playing crazy defense, and he does not get enough credit for it.
No, he definitely doesn't. I mean, people look at him and just think that he's just a guy that want to fight and just push dudes around and, just be a badass, whatever he can. But he does a lot more than that. I think he's done a good job of establishing himself as one of the best defenders in basketball, whether it's as a rim protector, he can switch out and defend on an island against wings, against guards. Like he's comfortable against whoever. Even his offensive game, I think he's done a really good job finishing at the rim, getting good setups from Cade Cunningham, even expanding out, being more confident as a shooter and a spacer for this team. He's done a really good job. To me, while I like his defensive, intensity and what he brings to this team, I think it's still important that Duren shows a little bit more of that consistency, because I think Stu has been very consistent, but I think to me, Duren is the most important defender on this team. He's not the best, but I think he's the most important as their big that they're trying to use as their focal point big man for, the foreseeable future next to Cade Cunningham. So, he's going to have to, get a little bit better with his paint protection. You can see kind of what the drop off is when he's not as active or as consistent as he should be in terms of rotation, in terms of getting through screens, protecting the paint, cleaning up the defensive rebounds. You see how much they struggle as a unit when he's not on his P's and Q's. So, it's important that he's, as good as he can be, because I do think Stu is capable of stepping in for him, but I think Duren's going to have to be the guy if they want to be where they want to be in the foreseeable future.
I agree with that, actually. I think Duren definitely has to step up a lot on the defensive end, and we've seen him expand his game offensively, which I personally love, like seeing that progress on a year-to-year basis. Now, it makes me think, though. So we lost to the Toronto Raptors 119-108, and the Raptors, truth be told, bro, they came with it defensively. Like there was points in that game where I'm like, we're supposed to be the bully in the Pistons, but yet we're out here getting punked. Credit to Scotty Barnes. He's a big piece for that Toronto Raptors team, and they're a very long team. They're a very lengthy team, and they do play hard. That's a talented team over there in Toronto, so I don't want to disrespect them. However, I have said on record, and I kind of want to revisit this a little bit, that I would love to match up with the Raptors in the playoffs, specifically for the fact that they're not going to overwhelm us with talent offensively like some other teams in the East could. I mainly say that because they can't shoot the ball well. Pistons don't shoot the ball the best from the three-point line either, so it's kind of head-to-head. The styles are very similar. You have your explosive guys on offense. Pistons, obviously, Cade Cunningham. The Raptors, obviously, Brandon Ingram. You have your dirty work guys, Scotty Barnes. For us, Asar Thompson, Isaiah Stewart. They also have their bigs. That's good. I feel like these two teams match up very evenly with each other, but ultimately, I think the Pistons have a slight edge. So I would love to see them match up in the playoffs, more so because the other options scare me. If I'm being honest, bro, if I'm being real.
I'm seeing conversation with Travis. Yeah, I saw y'all talking about the Cavaliers and the Celtics. I saw y'all talking about that.
Yeah,
and I don't disagree with you a whole lot, to be honest, man. I mean, even with the game that they had, like, you know, Brandon Ingram having 34, I can understand that. He's a bucket. He's, you know, a very underrated scorer, one of the best in the game. Mm-hmm. But it's the other guys in the production that they had that was bothering me. Like, you can't have RJ Barrett can't have 27 points.
Yeah,
like,
come on, man.
Jakob Poeltl have the double-double that he had. Like, Scotty didn't even kill them that much. Defensively, he was great, and I think he's a really good passer too, which is super underrated in this game. But it was more so like the other guys and the dirty work that they were giving that was killing them. And looking what they were giving on the other side for the Pistons, like Duncan Robinson only having 1 point, even Asar, you know, in the limited time he had, given 4 points. Like, a lot of Piston fans like to say that Asar's, you know, defensive presence is enough for the team and he don't have to, you know, give too much as a shooter or a scorer. I don't agree with that. I feel like these are the games that you need to have some balance where it can't just be Cade and JD, you know, carrying the water. Like, I think Tobias had a pretty good game with 21, but you need some more balance from the rest of the other guys, especially if they're going to be playing 25 to 30 minutes a night for this basketball team.
Yeah, bro, I agree. Like, I love Asar's presence. I love Ron Holland's presence. Like, what these guys bring to the floor is great, but it is not enough for the Pistons to go on and win a championship. Like, it's enough to get us to the playoffs. It's enough to win some ball games in the playoffs, and hell, maybe even some series. But these guys are going to have to develop a jump shot down the line, bro. In order for us to get to championship status, we are going to need that corner three ball out of Ron Holland. We're going to need that same corner three ball out of Asar Thompson. And eventually, once that starts clicking and we continue to develop, bring in the right pieces and continue to blend the young with veteran presence, then maybe we can compete in the championship. But right now, I'm like, we're good. And we play hard. I love the style we play with. We're very defensive, so that's going to win us some ball games and probably even some series. But down the line, we're going to need a wing that can shoot. At some point, we're going to need a wing that can shoot.
I look at the San Antonio Spurs. I love what they have built around Wemby. Like, he's phenomenal. He's an alien. He's a top 3, top 5 player. But it's the resources around him that make his life so much easier.
Facts.
Having a De'Aaron Fox that can go give you 30 at any point. Dylan Harper coming off the bench. And then the 2 wings that they have that killed the Pistons in both games, in Vassell and Castle. They are the prime example of what I want to see Ron and Asar kind of turn into. Now, granted, they're a little far away. Ron and Asar, unfortunately, are 2 of the 10 worst shooters in basketball right now, from distance and from the free throw line. And, like, that's a little discouraging right now. And what makes it a little harder, to be honest, is it's not like they're just missing. Like, granted, I like that Ron is confident enough, and I like his mechanics and his confidence to shoot the ball. The numbers are going to, you know, get better as he gets more confident.
Yeah.
Asar, to me, is not even taking shots, and that's the part that bothers me.
Yep.
He's very one-trick minded, where he's trying to get in the paint or try to find somebody else, and defenses smell that out, and they know how to defend that. When you have a Vassell and a Castle who can be unpredictable, who can play catch-and-shoot basketball, who can create their own shot, create shots for others, that's what makes the Spurs so dangerous.
Bro,
because,
preach.
like, yes, I love how Asar is a DPOY, you know, potential type player, and I think Ron has the ability to be, you know, great enough maybe as a first-team all-defender one day, but I'd rather have a pretty good defender and a pretty good offensive player than a really, really good defender and a guy that lacks a lot and leaves a lot to be desired on offense. Like, it's a lot that kind of just changes, especially when you're playing with a guy like Cade Cunningham, who's great with passing, setting up other guys, and he takes on so much of a defensive and offensive load, getting double and triple teamed as much as he does.
Man, honestly, bro, that is facts. And this makes me think. So, as I said, title of this episode is called "What's Next for the Pistons," or what are we looking forward to in the Pistons? Like, what can we expect with this team coming toward the end of the season? Now, one of the things I wanted to see toward the back end of the season is obviously we're going to get in the playoffs. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I'm very happy we're getting in the playoffs. But one of the things I want to see toward this back end of the season is mixing in a little bit of Kevin Huerter, mixing in a little Chaz, and mixing in a little Marcus Sasser. Just because I think where we are right now, we obviously know the Pistons struggle shooting the three ball. Chaz can shoot the three ball. Kevin Huerter can shoot the three ball, apparently, based on things we've seen in his past. Hasn't really done it just yet with the Pistons, but I'm just more so on the side of giving these guys reps now. That way, if when the playoffs come, we can kind of assimilate them in the game plan if it calls for that against whoever we're facing. That's just my thoughts on that. Anything you expect coming from this team toward the end of the season, or something you would want to see from this team?
Yeah, you kind of hit towards it. So I'll kind of like round it how I see it. Because yes, I want to see a little bit more offensive diversity. Again, those last 3 games that they played against the Nets, the Grizzlies, and the Sixers, I love the way Cade was playing, where he was only taking like 5 to 10 shots, but spreading the ball around to everybody else and getting their confidence going. You go ahead and get your 5 shots in. You get your 10 shots in. I think it was one game where Huerter actually led the Pistons in shots attempted. I think it was against the Sixers coming off the bench. Like, I love seeing him build their confidence in that. So for me as a beat reporter, I've talked to JB Bickerstaff a lot. I've asked him a lot about this. Heading into the postseason, you want to have some consistency with your rotations, and you want to have enough confidence to be able to lean on some of those guys. Granted, they lean on a lot of their bench guys, and some of their lineups can be a little clunky. So I want to see them, like you as what's next for them. I want to see a little bit more rounded out of a rotation that makes sense for them to prepare for the postseason. Now, granted, it's going to, depend on the matchup of who they draw, but I want to see them be able to lean on other guys. Like, they have a lot of guys that are scrappy, defensive guys that like to play out in transition, like Javonte Green, Ron Holland. We just talked about Asar. But I want to see them sprinkle in guys like Sasser, like you just said. Get Huerter out there, who seems like he's giving a lot of help to this offense, especially when he plays on the floor with Duncan Robinson. Because when you have multiple shooters on the floor, you see how much space Duren has to work with in the paint. Yeah. You see how much the defense has to collapse and respect them on the perimeter instead of just being able to clog the paint and saying, you can't come in here. So I want to see JB kind of round out a consistent rotation, which is a little tough for them based on a lot of the guys that they have and they've leaned on thus far. But based on where they're at right now, in the season of March or in the month of March, where it's going to be kind of tough because they don't have a lot of rest right now. Like, a lot of these games that they're playing, they're going to be on a 1 day of rest or they're on a back-to-back. So I kind of want to see something a little bit more consistent with their rotations because they're going to have to find that, pattern of consistency when the postseason gets here.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting too to kind of to pay attention to, because like the schedule isn't really a tough schedule in terms of the competition. Obviously, you can never really take a night off in the NBA because they're all professionals, of course. But that biggest factor probably will be the rest factor there, kind of going into the playoffs. That's a really good point. That's something I didn't think about. On my side, I'm looking at the schedule and I'm like, oh, good eats. We got the Wizards. We got that's kind of where my head was at. But I didn't even factor in like a lot of these games are 1 day after another. Like, it's a very, very consistent schedule with little rest heading into the playoffs. So that does worry me a little bit. And now, all right, this might stir up some drama. And I know you probably gonna stir up some drama with this conversation, but I'm ready. I'm ready as well with the whole MVP thing. Now it seems like our guy Cade done lost a lot of steam in this MVP conversation. Are you still putting Cade as the MVP right now?
Nah, I can't. I can't give it to him right now. Now, I will say this. I don't like people who slam the MVP conversation a month or 2 months in advance. I don't like that. Like, granted, if you want to say SGA is, the leader, far on as of right now, I'm fine with that. I think he's been spectacular, especially since his injury. He's been
Yeah.
really good in terms of his scoring. He's been an underrated playmaker. And his defense, there are parts of his game that don't really get a lot of credit that people don't talk about. All they talk about is his shooting efficiency, how much he gets to the free throw line, and the dramatics of how he gets to the free throw line, which is a whole other conversation. But I think he's a great, well-rounded basketball player. But I think Cade, unfortunately, that 4-game stretch with the, losing to the Nets, losing to the Heat, losing to the Spurs, I think it's one more game I'm forgetting. That hurt a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing that he did play pretty well in some of those games, but losing those 4 in that stretch, I think maybe did a little bit of damage to him. Now, granted, for me personally, if I were to rank right now, I got SGA number 1. I still got Cade number 2. Personally, I got Cade 2. I got Wemby 3, and then I'm going Jokic 4.
Damn.
The Nuggets have been taking a slide since Jokic has come back from his injury, and he's a cone defensively.
No Jaylen Brown? No Jaylen Brown in there?
You can put him at 5. I don't care too much for the Jaylen Brown agenda. That don't move me too much. But for me, I respect two-way players. I don't like the guys like Luka or Jokic getting overhyped just for offense while they're complete liabilities on the other side of the floor.
That's
the
fair.
Guys that we're talking about right now that are ranked where they are two-way guys and reliable on both sides. You can't put Luka or Jokic on the best scorer on a night-to-night basis and
Facts.
Hope for defenses are going to be able to be reliable. That's just not how they play. But you can get that out of SGA. You can get that out of Cade. And I respect that out of Wemby as well, even as a young player. So for me, I think Cade has lost a little bit of steam. If he comes on hot, maybe to close the season, maybe it'll change some things. But I think SGA has, built a bit more of a comfortable lead, as the season is going on.
Between the buzzer beater or the game winner he hit against was it the Celtics or I think it was the Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics. Yeah,
between that game winner he hit against the Celtics, closing the game out against the Timberwolves the other day, I think he took that MVP. Unfortunately, I didn't want him to get it. Credit to him, tremendous player, 100% deserves it. I didn't want it to go to him, but I think he ran away with that MVP. The only bone I have to pick with the MVP conversation, I think SGA deserves it. Tremendous player defensively, offensively, efficiency, as people love to say. All well deserved. The only thing I dislike about this whole MVP narrative is that it's so narrative driven. It's so narrative driven. We bring up guys who have dominated the league the past 1 to 2 years, and we compile all of that information into putting it into why they're the MVP in this current season. And it's no, just because this guy had a great 2025, 2024 season does not mean that they're the MVP of this 2025, 2026 season. No, that was last year. What is this current player doing right now in this season? And right now in this season, I don't think there's anybody else in the league who should be considered for MVP outside of SGA, Cade Cunningham, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Edwards, Wemby. Those 5 guys right there have been balling on both sides of the ball, some better than others. However, they have been carrying this entire NBA season because Jokic was down at one point, and we all know Jokic don't play no defense. Luka has been, oh my gosh, a cone, if you will, on defense. He's been up and down. Offensively, tremendous. I'll never hate on him offensively, but what is he doing on the other side of the ball? Standing around, walking around, looking at the referee, throwing his arms in the air. And I just cannot respect that in terms of picking an MVP player for this current season. So that's my only bone to pick, is that it's so narrative driven, and we got to really cut that out when we talk about MVPs. We got to focus in and dial in on the current season. So again, I'm cool with SGA winning MVP. I think it's very much well deserved. The flopping and stuff still pissed me off a little bit, but that's another conversation. But I congrats. I think he ran away with it when he hit that when that game winner, and then also the way he's been closing games lately. I think he ran away with it. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough though. I think K gonna get one.
He will. He's definitely gonna get one sooner or later. But I love that you said that about narratives, because that's why I'm so pro that 65-game rule that they have, because it minimizes the ability for the voters to lean on narratives alone. Now you have to play a certain number of games. Now there's a certain criteria that's forming in real time. And Facts. I'm fine with that. I think 65 games is completely fair based on what the league history is. I think it's only been like 3, maybe 4 MVPs that played less than 65 games.
Man.
So now all of a sudden, when Jokic and SGA are threatened to maybe lose it, now all of a sudden we got to change it. Like, nah, bro, I'm not with that.
Man.
I feel like it's a totally fair stat to have. And it makes me mad that people pick and choose when narratives matter. Even for things like Coach of the Year, where JB Bickerstaff, the narrative could have benefited JB to say he took one of the worst teams in NBA history last season, got him to the playoffs that season, but because the Cavaliers were the team all year, they gave it to the Cavs coach. But now JB's done the exact same thing that the Cavs did last year, but the narrative is, oh, well, Coach Mazzulla's doing this without Jason Tatum for this long. So the narrative is favoring him. When do the narratives matter? Like, it really bothers me that a lot of awards are narrative driven. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, and it's so weird about the Joe Mazzulla one because did we forget? We act like Jaylen Brown is a scrub. Like, it's so insane to me that people, I understand he's not playing with his counterpart in Jason Tatum, who is another 25-10 guy. I get it. Very much so. But the Celtics are literally playing with the NBA Finals MVP. Like, when did he become a scrub? When did Jaylen Brown become incapable of leading an NBA team on his own? Like, at one point, the conversations was he needs to go somewhere else to lead a team on his own. And now that we see him do it, now it's like, Joe Mazzulla, look at the job he's doing. Like, look at what Jaylen Brown, he's averaging. At one point, he was averaging 30. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, man. So the narratives, we got to pick and choose. We got to, like, it's weird. Or we got to stop picking and choosing, I should say. And we need to figure out if we're going to push all these narratives and that's going to be the main ingredient for who's going to win this award, or if we're not going to base anything on narratives and we're just only going to look at play and only look at stats to figure out who's who and who's going to win. That's a great point right there with Joe Mazzulla and JB Bickerstaff, because that's so weird that all of a sudden that's the narrative.
yeah, people think I'm just like a stan when I'm talking about like these awards, and maybe I'm hating on Luka and I'm hating on the other guys. I'm not hating on anybody, and I'm not just trying to push Procade. One of the things I just want to push more is the consistency of the awards and how they are decided in this league, because I think it's just so backwards. It's not enough consistency driven, and I think there needs to be a real set criteria of, again, like how many games you play, what your contributions are on defense, on offense, like all of that should matter, not just what your shooting efficiency is. Like, I just think that's ridiculous, and I think people need to talk about that way more often than they do.
Facts. Like, let's set a specific standard and a specific line of what criteria deserves a defensive player of the year. Like, what has to be done for someone to win MVP. And to your point, the 65-game rule, I love it, because you asking guys to literally just show up to work less than 80% of the time, and people still have a problem with that. Like, come on, man. So it's weird to me. Other than that, though, man, hey, I think that's all we have for today in terms of just running over the Pistons and covering everything regarding them. Let the people know where they can find you if they want to focus in on Pistons content, or if they want to argue against Pistons content, because he will take it there, and I love it. I love it every time. So let the people know.
No fades. I dug no fades over here.
No fades.
Appreciate you having me, bro. Yeah, you can follow me on social media at I am Eric Vincent. Twitter, Instagram, all of the above. You can follow me on there. You can tap into my YouTube channel at Top Title Detroit. I actually stream Piston away games and actually work and broadcast them on liveonassist.com. But you can follow the stream with me on my YouTube page, Top Title Detroit. You can also follow all of my recap work and my beat reporting on clutchpoints.com as well. That's where you can find me at, man. I appreciate the support, and I'd love to hear from y'all.
Of course. Y'all definitely got to go check out the content, check out the YouTube, all of the above. And I didn't even know when you were streaming the games, it was just the away games. So that is, I know some of y'all ain't got the access to them away games, bro. Don't even cap like that. Don't even cap. I know streamies be getting the tweaking sometimes, bro. Trust me. So, hey, just know you got a new source to follow up on some of these games and all. So,
I got you.
Other than that, man, look, y'all know where to follow me on Instagram at The Run Podcast. Follow the Twitter at Podcast The Run. I'm trying to be more active on there. Facebook at The Run Podcast. YouTube, The Run with Manny Wilson. You can check it out on all podcast platforms as well at The Run with Manny Wilson. And other than that, man, that's all I got for you guys. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Eric, man, I appreciate you for coming on the pod. Of course, we're going to bring you back on playoff time and even more because, man, I know, man, I can't wait. We're going to see how all of this stuff we've said pan out. But other than that, man, that's all I got. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back later on this Monday? Yeah, later on next week, and so on and so on and so on.
Hi folks, Johnny Stivers here for Stivers Hyundai. There's absolutely zero chance any other dealer is doing this. Right now, get 0% interest on every new Hyundai. That's right, Palisade, Santa Fe, the entire lineup. And it gets even better. 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and America's best warranty, including a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Owner assurance, beating Toyota and Honda. No gimmicks, no games, just serious savings.
At Stivers Hyundai, where price sells cars.
For details, see dealer or www.stivershyundai.net.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.